3336 or 4808-715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canoopia. Shiklisha Limited. Quality you can trust.
For the everyday lowest prices on all grocery items, trust Low Cost Supermarket for the widest variety of quality products at low prices. Freshly picked fruits and vegetables, healthy products for your well-being, high quality meat cuts, and a warm and friendly service. Low Cost Supermarket, Southern Main Road, Canoopia.
Mitsu Air Limited, authorized Mitsubishi air conditioning dealer. No need to replace your air conditioning units ever so often. Split units, cassette, ductable, CTVIF systems, and much more. Mitsubishi Electric has long been powering industries and providing solutions for healthy living. Mitsu Air Limited boasts the industry's first 10-year warranty on all parts and labor. Inverter units are also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
I'm Brian. I've been welding for more than 25 years. It's a rough job, so I need tools that last long and work efficiently. The most important tool that I use every day is a welding machine. A good one, in my experience, must last at least, let's say, 4 to 5 years without breaking down or losing efficiency. I've been using a Ronix welding machine for about 4 years now, and it's been a really good companion.
Ronix Premium Quality.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening and welcome to Breaking Barriers here on IBN Channel 8. Of course, low below on my bed, and I apologize for that. What happened is that I'm getting to see the chubbiness of the face now. Anyway, tonight I decided to just dress down a little bit because I have a man in studio who does normally compete with me and give me a competition, and with somebody as slender as that and as sexy as that, you really can't have any competition. Of course, I'm talking about none other than my good partner in crime, Richard Jagisar. Richard, good evening, my brother. How are you?
Good night. How are you?
Not too bad, can't complain. And what happened is that we're getting ready to rock and roll because tonight is going to be a night where we try to engage people with the discussions that we have been having. And of course, this first segment brought to you today our good friends at Tile Expression. And remember, you don't have to wait for a special occasion to purchase tiles from Tile Expression. You can get tiles every single day, and not only that, quality tiles at best prices. Remember to check them out right there off Monroe Road in Canoopia. What I wanted to deal with is that I just came back from a trip in Miami. And every time I go to Miami, I'm amazed at the level of development. For example, every single month when you go, there's infrastructural development. You go and you see the grass properly cut. You see the place well maintained. You see the place well manicured. And to me, it is absolutely unbelievable that when you look and you hear about statements that people should try and travel abroad. Well, I have traveled abroad, and I would like to make this public, and it is, guys, if you could give me a single shot, please. And could we just please monitor the shots, please? Yeah, so what is happening is that when I have traveled to Suriname, Barbados, Guyana, Thailand, Singapore, Japan, Malaysia, you name it. There are so many countries that I have traveled, I can't even count. I've visited the US. In fact, over 103 times I visited Miami. So I am well traveled. I visited the four corners of the earth. Like I said, I've gone to Saudi Arabia. And to me, 100%. In fact, the only country that I went to, and I think it is almost on the standard with Trinidad and Tobago, is Dominican Republic. But that is the only country. But other than that, every other country, from Panama go right up, the standards are high, the standards are different. So when you look and you see, for example, the Minister Randall Mitchell, and this is the statement that Minister Mitchell made in regards to Trinidad and Tobago, we have that, right, this is the gentleman there. We're supposed to have a little snippet of what was said. Right, okay. Right, we'll get that for you. What happens is that basically, he said, you know, people should travel and see what it is like outside. And they will realize how good they have it in Trinidad and Tobago. Richard, what do you think about that statement?
I think, first of all tonight, you know, usually they see, the viewers see lawyer me, they see attorney at law Richard Jagger. So tonight is a different, dressed down, and I'm more of a cantankerous mood tonight.
Well, I noticed half your mustache is missing.
Left half for the good half or the bad half?
Well, mine looking like half and half. I believe that.
So let me start off by saying that this is the Minister of Stoops. This is the Minister of disrespect.
Give my AJC house.
All right, and Stoops in response. And he has come now to tell this country that if you want to see how good you have it here, you should travel out there. Well, first of all, we can't travel because we have no foreign exchange to get. When you go to the bank to get some foreign exchange to travel, you're lucky if you get $200 US. You're lucky if you get $150 US. And that's only if you have a confirmed ticket within 2 weeks of the flight. So that's the first response to Minister of Stoops and Disrespect. The second response I have is I endorse what you've said, Inshan, that at the end of the day, all of those countries have more development, have more development, have a greater increase in service to citizens. And I want to draw a comparison. In those countries, you referenced, I think you'll see it in the clip in a minute, because I looked at his contribution to the budget debate, and so I'm familiar with his comments. And in short, he said that, you know, in those countries, taxes are high, food bill is high, and all of those things. Now, let me tell you something. When you live in those countries, you could rely on the police service to investigate a crime, to lay a charge, to patrol your streets, and to properly prosecute a matter. That in comparison to our less than 1%.
Correct.
Less than 1% detection rate. All right? So you can't compare the taxes that they pay because they get so much more in return because they have better management, because their government knows what they're doing. So when you pay those taxes, you get a almost flawless public healthcare system. You get a almost flawless, if not flawless, education system, school books, school feeding, and so on. In Trinidad, we practically don't have a proper public healthcare system anymore. We've cut gate, we've reduced the school feeding program. So how can we don't have proper roads in the country? We build a bridge one Monday morning, we have nice ribbon cutting with all of the MPs, and then by Thursday the bridge collapse in Shogunas. So Minister of Stoops, you're comparing chalk and cheese. You cannot compare what other countries have because we don't have the benefits, the good governance, the good corporate practices that those other countries have. And those other countries certainly certainly do not have a minister that ever stoops at a civilian asking for, as a citizen, asking for a house.
Now, the fact is that when a minister could be so bold and brazen to make statements like that, it's like the norm, because you have one of them telling you to ride a bicycle to save gas, light a coal pot.
Light a coal pot.
Light a coal pot. Then you have the other one saying, don't put too much cheese in your macaroni pie, right? Then you cannot wash your car because you need to limit water. So every single thing, every single minister that they have put in position, no matter who it is, you have Gatsby Dolly saying that here happening, all the schools repaired, even though half the schools falling apart, right? So the fact is that it is almost as if all these ministers were properly well trained by Rowley. And take a look at the situation. This is what Mitchell had to say.
You want me to read it for the viewer?
Read it out.
Read it. However, Mitchell told the upper house, and of course that's the Senate, that it is only when citizens leave this country, and like I said, we can't leave, we don't have foreign exchange to travel, we don't have savings to go on vacation far less. You know what? If Mitchell is so concerned with how good things are outside, he should run for office outside. He should leave us alone.
No, we should run him out of Trinidad.
Or the other way around.
Yes.
You could run him out. Let's bring back up the clip, please. It's only when citizens leave this country that they appreciate how good they have it here. Well, come back to me, please. Sorry, I control it.
How good we have it here.
How good we have it here. We have crime. A police officer, a woman police officer.
Shot in the chest.
Shot in the chest as she came back in the country.
Yeah.
That's what we have. That's what we have. We have a student bullied to committing suicide. That's what we have. And the report is still waiting to be processed. Right? We have a commissioner of police that hardly ever grants a FUL. Let me tell you something. I read in the papers, I think it was Monday, a suspended police officer attempted to rob, I think it was a mini-mart on Old Town Road, Arima.
Yes.
And an on-duty police officer was able to fire shots and there was exchange, and the suspended officer had to flee the scene. And in the exchange, the on-duty officer, 54 years of age, I forgot his name, he died as a result of the bullet wounds. And I'm very sorry that had to happen, but my comment is this. Imagine how different that would have turned out if the owner of the business had an FUL. If the owner of the mini-mart also had a firearm, and both the on-duty officer and the owner of the business were able to defend themselves against the criminal assailant, the result may have been different. Correct. Highly likely would have been different. So that's what we have. Bring back up the clip, please.
Yeah, pull back up the clip.
And at the end of the day, Mitchell really has to put himself in the shoes of the regular, everyday citizen.
That cannot happen. That cannot happen.
So here he goes in the quote. You have to talk to those people who travel outside of TNT. Well, I have to go Balizier House to talk to those people who travel. Correct. Or you have to travel yourself to the Caribbean or to Canada, the US or to the UK. Travel and go and see in those countries what the high cost of living really looks like and feels like. And that's the same comment I made. They have returned. They have returned for that cost of living, and I honestly don't feel it's that much different than here. But fine, okay. You want to compare? You want to draw a comparison? All right, they may have a slightly higher cost of living, but the return that the citizens get in those countries is far superior than what we have.
Richard,
here.
when you live in the US and you pay, all right, let's use Canada, and you pay taxes. When you call the police, for example, bandits show up in your house. Hello, police. You just say the word police and you hang up. The police trace your call.
Yes.
Come to your home. Even while the bandit is here. In other words, if they realize based on your call that something is going on, Trinidad and Tobago. Hello, police.
What are you calling for?
Yeah, what are you calling for? No,
where
right. Here happening. We want, etc., etc. But not only that. The reality of it is that when the police now find out what the issue is, that is family problem. Your husband threatened you how much times? 20 times? No. Normally it's supposed to be 30 times. And don't come and ask for no report in any station because one is that you ain't going to get that in a while.
Correct. Absolutely
but that is what we get in return. That is what we get in return in every facet when you look. There is not one single ministry. There is not one single minister that is actually functional in Trinidad and Tobago. And I dare you, I ask you, because here what happening. It have a man who was recently caught with a set of guns. All of a sudden now he started a construction company for his daughter.
Only in Trinidad.
For his daughter. And getting a set of contracts left, right, and center. A set of contracts. But not only that, you touched on it a few minutes ago, where people look at all the projects that have been done and failing. Almost every project that Rohan touches falls apart. From road to drain to bridge. Trinidad is the only country where they repair a bridge and they put a bar on top. Right? And the bar restricts the height of the vehicle. So here what happened, Richard. You could go on that bridge with 5 ton loaded on your 3 ton truck once it could pass. So if you have a 5 ton truck and you put 10 tons on it, you could pass. But the truck that high like a 10 ton cannot pass.
Which may be lighter.
Which empty. Explain that to me.
You see, it's because they have nothing between their ears. Those PNM ministers have nothing between their ears.
How you going to say that?
Not.
I would say they have something between theirs, but I would call solid waste to deal with that. But first, let me just welcome Neil Shaz here. And remember, folks, Neil Shaz is where you get all your European parts, Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Volvo, you name it, across the board. Not only that, they carry genuine and replacement parts. So make sure and give them a call, 6800-734. Give them a buzz. And of course, they do vehicle repairs too as well. Yeah, go ahead, Richard.
Now, it's difficult. It's difficult to understand where a minister who sits in an ivory tower gets unlimited access to U.S. currency, foreign exchange currency, and travels as he pleases and so on, an underperforming minister. It's difficult to understand, for that person to understand the needs of the citizen. So in that context, he may have felt justified to go into the Senate and make those ridiculous statements. But I'll tell you something. As a young entrepreneur in this country, as an individual who is qualified and a professional, it is very difficult to accept the waste and the nonsense that this government has been giving out for 9 years. It is difficult to accept that kind of what they call performance as performance. And you have to remember that minister moved from housing, or was moved from housing to culture and tourism.
Yeah.
Because there was a shift in cabinet, and there was a particular minister who had certain allegations and charges against them, and he had to be moved. I think it was from sport, and then they had to move Shamfa Kujo, the MP for Tobago, one of the Tobago seats, into that ministry, and there was a shift and move around and so on. So those guys in the PNM, those guys who serve as ministers, with all of their charges, with all their allegations, it is hard to imagine that they want to tell us how to feel and how to accept their poor performance. It is hard to imagine that come next election, I would give anything for that election to be this year, but we'll get to that in a minute. It's hard to believe that those guys are going to hold themselves out for office in the next election.
But you realize something, no matter who you change or what you add, you're adding failure. For example, with Hines, you added a minister to the Ministry of National Security. What difference did it make? The minister has not made one difference in his ministry. Even in his constituency is laden with crime. It's overburdened with crime.
Yes.
He cannot even do anything within his own constituency. How could he expand out of that? He cannot.
We have a mutual friend, and today that mutual friend asked me if, when you were that minister's client, if you were paying him for his looks. And I said, if that was the case, you need a refund.
You go ahead. You're on your own day. I have plenty. My cases in court are now few and far between. And I'm feeling good because of a man called Richard Jagesa. So here what's happening. I enjoying. You see that little distance between visits to the court? I am enjoying that. Believe me, that come like holiday.
No, we have one Friday.
Yeah, well, I know. Until Friday. Until Friday. But here what's happening, Richard, I want to get the reaction of the public.
Yes.
In regards to this. So what we're going to do is, as we're going along, we'll open up the phone line. So, you can call in and let us hear what you have to say in regards to this great insult. Because to me, and I said, Richard, boy, I had to show you something. In fact, hear what? You're talking about this. I have to show you. Let me just get it for you. In the meantime, you could go ahead and elaborate on something.
as we're waiting for the callers, I wanna draw a reference to something. You know, as lawyers, they say we read for the bar. You know, there's this book. I bought, Mr. Speaker Sir, is an autobiography of the Silver-tongued orator by Lionel Frank Sukaran. Lionel Frank Sukaran. You know who that is?
Yep.
That is Faris
Faris,
Al-Rawi's
yep.
grandfather on his mother's side. That is, that's your nana.
Well, something like that.
Right. Now, he said, there's a call on the line. Let me take the call and then I'll get into it. Yes, caller, good night.
Hello, good night.
Hello, good night, caller, you're live.
Yeah, good night, first time caller.
Pleasure to have you on board.
Yeah, so with regards to what the minister said, I mean, I'm going to give my honest opinion on the whole situation, right? The only thing I think we should be grateful for in Trinidad is that we don't have no civil war, like what's going on in Palestine and stuff else. But
that is hold on. That is not a civil war. When you are talking about a genocide, talk about a genocide. Do not look to sugarcoat it.
I mean, sorry.
It is a genocide. I will not have people defending the evil Zionists and dirty stinking dogs. Go ahead.
So basically what I'm trying to say is this. In the year 2024.
Go ahead.
Right, in 2024. So
right.
He wants to basically say that we need to travel abroad to see why it is that we have a nice day. First of all, what do we have nice in Trinidad? For me, time you reach in the airport and you come from New York, England, Europe, you're getting greeted with stink nasty attitude in immigration. When you're walking through, nasty attitude. Why you have two suitcases? So for me, time you come out of the airport, the grass high and dirty everywhere, the streets dirty, the place smelling stink.
And caller, how much time the belt shutting down that tote in your suit, that carrying your suitcase around? How much time it's shutting down?
Exactly. The airport looking dark and gloomy. Let me move on, insurance. To the bad roads. What the roads doing people cars, it mashing up your suspension parts. Bad. Look at the traffic situation. Imagine it have people who have to leave home 4 o'clock in the morning to go to school.
Yes.
Excellent points.
Why it is in this day and age they didn't decentralize Port of Spain, move all them government ministries and move the port from right to road. Next thing now, and we living on an island, why it is we don't have water 24/7 in a lot of areas.
Another great point.
Another
Brilliant
point,
points
why is they didn't raise people's salary since 2013, both public and private sector?
All right, caller, you threatening my position on this show. Hold on. All right, caller, you.
Many things, food prices, lack of jobs, there's so much. You're going in hospital 6-7 hours to see a doctor.
Yes.
Crime, kidnapping is so bad. But you know what they say? Indian and African people are the most stupidest people in this country.
What we tolerate.
Let them continue voting UNC and PNM, and there's more jam. And that's why the Syrian and them laughing at me today. The Syrian and them is the one who control in this country. That's all I had to say, and I want your opinion on that. I want.
Thank you very much. Well, they control a large percentage of the finance. But remember, at the end of the day, I always said that my father and family was well taken care of. My father worked for the Syrians. And what happened is that I thank God that he was able to take care of 14 children. And that is one thing I'll always be grateful for. But the reality of it is that it's not only the Syrians. There are those people who have rich African descent and Indian descent who get their way because of their wealth. In Trinidad, once you have money, for example, there's a contractor in Barapur, because of his relationship with senior people in the PNM, that man's family get vehicle import license and all kind of drama. So at the end of the day, that's the next story. But Richard, before we take this call, I want to show you something. Justin, I just sent you a photo. Your father would like this one. You see this, Richard?
It says payment failed.
Zoom in. I went to Miami, right? I contacted the bank to ask them when the renewal for my card will be there's use this date to refresh your card every month.
Yeah.
So I was told it was the 21st. I went there on the 20th. So on the 21st, today is I think the 22nd. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right.
22nd.
So 23rd, sorry. And on the 21st, I attempted to use my card. Richard, $12.47 on my card failed.
TT or US?
US. In Walmart.
That's less than $100?
In Walmart. $12. And the banks is get $200. Mm-hmm. I called the bank, begging them to try and see what they could do to put my cycle for the day before. They didn't do it. I was treated like a dog, and I'm abroad. Richard, if I did not have a little US with me and I depended with the $200 that the bank gave me, what would have happened up there?
You know,
I was like an old dog. But you see, this is what I tell you. We in this country is a bunch of gadaha. We real stupid. Toyota Trinidad and Tobago is owned by, you know who? Toyota is owned by the foreign Japanese company. It is not owned by a Trinidad entity. Toyota, they are owned by the Japanese. Now here what's happening. Toyota have cars that they order, that is on the way. Toyota have cars on the sea. Toyota have cars on the port. Toyota have cars in warehouse. And Toyota have cars in showroom. I can get two. I can get two cars in this country because I cannot get foreign exchange because I is a stinking dog. I is a rat. I is a sewer rat. But foreign companies, like you could go in Price Smart and they have $1 million in TV in every branch, could get money. And we sit down like a bunch of donkey in this country. We sit down like a bunch of idiots and we allow this. And something has to happen, a revolution of the minds in this country where people need to say no more. We had enough. Let's take this call. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Incham, I want to ask you a question, right? Hello?
Yes, go ahead, you're live.
Okay. Stuart Young did curse in Parliament. And he is acting Prime Minister. He have no respect. What happened to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? They should be protesting. We don't want he as acting Prime Minister.
exactly. The fact that, thank you, Auntie, the fact that...
But there's a poll. In fact, there was a question, Justin, I'd send that to you. The question where they had asked about Stuart Young acting as PM. Could we get that on the screen, please?
Considering his comments, and you have to put it in context.
Watch.
Considering his recent comment, there we go. Should Stuart Young act as Prime Minister after his recent comments in Parliament? And that's his Zami comments. And 79% of those that voted in this particular poll said no. But I think nationwide,
yeah, but
it's closer to 90%.
What does that say about the 21%?
Well,
the 21% don't care. It's like rat behavior is okay for them.
Yeah, and
right?
you can call them anything.
You could call your mother a dog, it don't matter. You could call your father a rat, it don't matter. The 21%, because 21% of people did not see a problem with that. Those people don't have mothers, they don't have sisters, they don't care.
Yeah. Now, you raised an interesting point just now. You raised a point about Toyota and all, and the foreign exchange and so on. And I wanna raise, while we're waiting on another call, I want to raise one point.
Just remember, callers, you could call in. In meantime, Richard and I will continue to fill your calls so that people could call in as we go along. Yes, go ahead.
As I said, I watched the budget debate, and the Minister of Finance, Colin Mimbert, he mentioned that inflation is down, economic growth is increasing, and all of that.
Inflation is down. It's down by all them tire shop and because they hardly gain sales.
I wanna just raise one critical point in relation to that, because it is as though that minister believes that this entire country is docile, is stupid, and is uneducated, and he feels as though, caller 1 minute, sorry, he feels as though the truth of the matter is, he is comparing that statistic to the period in which COVID was in place.
Correct.
So when he calculates economic growth, he's calculating economic growth from zero. During COVID, as we all know, there was no activity at all. Every business in the country was closed, except groceries and pharmacies. There was no import. There was no growth in the country. So, for example, in his speech, he mentioned, an increase in cruise ships coming and parking in Port of Spain, and he's saying there's a increase from the amount of cruise ships parked during 2021 and 2020. But the truth is there was zero cruise ships docking during that period, because that was a COVID period. So any increase from zero is an increase. But he believes as though, Minister of Finance, I have to be the one to tell him this, but that's just how numbers work. Nothing was happening during COVID. So when you compare now to then, there will be an increase. And the sad part is when you really check it, when you really analyze the figures, we are not even back to the position that we were prior to COVID. So we're still at a decrease under this 9-year PNM administration.
Let's go to our lines. Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Go ahead, you're live.
Oh, good night, Mr. Ishan.
Good night, good night. Mr.
Right.
Jagasai is
Mr.
also
Ishan,
on.
you touched on a topic just now about Toyota vehicles, right? I want to tell you what happened. I bought a rush from Toyota.
Right.
And the shocks went to the firm and no parts. You have no parts fit.
Toyota Rush.
Yeah, and the next thing, the air condition system don't have a filter, air condition filter fit.
Well, you better rush and get rid of that rubbish.
Well, I want to do that. You can't help it. Gas sale for me.
Boy, I don't know why I go rush to get stressed.
I hear you, Sunshine.
All right, and thank you so much. But that is common, Richard. A lot of people bringing in things and they don't have the parts and the backup, etc. But that is a different story. But coming back to this, because people, you know what shocked me? When you look at some car dealers in this country, you will see their whole yard full, but the FIU don't know about it. They are buying money from drug dealers and gun runners, right? Because where are they getting the foreign exchange from? Richard, you cannot do business if you're buying money black market. It can never balance your account. What you going to do when you do accounts? That you buy money from the drug man down the road, you buy 50,000 US, and the FIU is sleeping right now. The Board of Inland Revenue, VAT office is sleeping right now where these fellas are concerned. It's so easy. There are men right now bringing in hundreds of cars. And when you look at their VAT returns at the end of the year, it's next to nothing. Because Tom, Dick, Harry, and their mother being bribed. You understand? So, Inshan Ishmael bringing one now, all of us on where he get the money from.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on your Facebook. Somebody commented and asked where you get the foreign exchange
And they may know that for a year, I have not brought in one vehicle. And it's pile up, and everybody mother credit card are using. Imagine, this is where it reached. We get notice from Republic Bank that they will be cutting people cards again. But you're cutting people cards and look at what, and the reason why I'm stressing on this, Richard, business, small business revolves around their cards. Mid-sized businesses revolve around their cards. If they cannot use it, they do not have a business. And Trinidad and Tobago, the economy is being designed for maximum size businesses to succeed and smaller businesses to go out of the way. Today I got a call from a gentleman whom I know very well. Somebody pulled up in front of the house and was looking and trying to scope out the place and this and that. And when the neighbors asked, well, what's going on? They say, no, well, they're waiting for somebody to come so they can pick up our car and this and that. And that's one, who's the person, who's the mechanic? They don't know. All of a sudden, they jump in a vehicle and they go. That family was putting things in place to leave the country. The family told me this evening that they have put things in place and they are leaving the country. They are selling the property and they are leaving. They're heading out. And they're heading out to one of the countries that Stuart talked about. So imagine people leaving Trinidad and going to the countries that Stuart talking about, where people should look at. Yes, they're looking at it. That is why they're leaving. Richard, my father sacrificed and mother sacrificed to buy this property that I am on. They sell chickens, they sell cows, and they sacrifice to have what we have here. So that they could pass it on to us. So that we could have generational wealth. So that our children will benefit. But you know what? We are not going to run. Because at the end of the day, if it's anybody to run from Trinidad and Tobago, I'm going to help them run is the PNM. Because for 9 years, Rowley run this country like a madman. For 9 years, you know, a woman failed as commissioner. But yet it is you put her back again and you showed confidence in her. Doesn't that say that's something wrong with Oliver? Doesn't that say that something is wrong? And then you're talking about increases in crime. You're talking about in every facet, but the police always finding something. You know, for example, there's a quote with one of the officers, Justin, get that for me, please.
Yeah, well, you see, I like, while we wait on Justin, I just want to make that point clearly, because the Prime Minister has told this country, I don't care that you all are being gunned down in the street, robbed, kidnapped, and so on. I will appoint the commissioner of police that I want, regardless of what you all say. That's the first thing. The second thing, he said, I don't care that Minister Stuart Young said certain things about a certain community, a certain catchment of society, and against females and women in the most sacred and most democratic, the house of democracy in this country. I don't care. I'll appoint him Prime Minister again. So he tells us he doesn't care.
Watch.
Constantly. Police Service Social Welfare Association President, ASP Dixon, Police officers bewildered, demotivated amid crime pandemic.
Explain that to me.
Well,
explain that to me.
If they bewildered, we will be stupefied.
No, Richard, that's like going by a mechanic and saying that your mechanic is bewildered by the noise your car making.
Boy, you know, it's shocking. It's shocking to be in this country where we have such abundance of resources, where we have such, I mean, we come from a society, we come from a nation where we have multiculturalism, we have a mass of human resources, we have thirst and drive for education, we had rice and sugar and cocoa, and we sell everything. We sell everything and close everything.
We have not sold everything. We are selling everything. There is nothing that we are not selling because you have a set of donkeys in government.
Yes. You know, if the PNM, after 9 years, going in 10, cannot properly manage this country, then give the reins over. Give the reins over to people who can.
But there are people who have confidence in the PNM. But it looks as if right now there's a big rift going on because you realize all of a sudden that we boy Stuart Young is acting PM and Colmimbert has been relegated to the back. He's almost like if Colmimbert is like solid waste now. They put in the back and they throw you out.
You know, as you said that, I sent IT something. I think the PNM insiders comment. Can you bring that up, please? While we have the caller, or we lost the caller in the meantime.
No.
The PNM insiders comment. Is that right? Here we go. This is an article. Deep division in the PNM. This was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes, Ferdinand, Karen Sarah, and Stuart Young. And essentially, what this article says, Ferdy Ferreira speaks to, you know, one of the most darkest days. You come back to me now. I just want to show the country. For those who don't know, Ferdy was a stalwart of the People's National.
He was one of the, yes, correct.
People's National Movement, you know, a founding member and so on from Eric Williams all the way go back. And he says one of the most darkest days in the People's National Movement was when the People's National Movement refused to elect a new political leader and instead formed a steering committee to go to Eric Williams' house and beg him to return. And let me tell you something. Rowley believes that is what he's doing. Rowley believes he will tell this country, his PNM supporters, I am not running back. He swan song in Parliament during this budget debate, I am not going back. This is my last debate. This is my last budget. He says that because he wants the People's National Movement membership to beg him to return. He feels as though they will end up by his doorsteps with clasped hands, on bended knees, praying for him to return and grace the People's National Movement with his presence. But what he does not know is there are 5 very eager young persons waiting, snapping at his feet. The Brian Manning, the Penelope Beckles, the Stuart Young, the Foster Cummins, and so on. And they're waiting to depose him of his office the minute he shut his eye too long.
They'll come after you.
This is, you know, Sunshine newspaper comes out once a week. And if you ever want to read into politics, if you ever want to read into
brilliant articles, brilliant.
Down to the grassroots movements in this country, boy. Quotes from guys in the ground, you know, the movers and the shakers. You know, take a look at the Sunshine. Comes out once a week, and it nail on the head, boys. Nail on the head. If you think the comments are not being properly carried in the daily newspaper, the Sunshine Today newspaper carries excellent coverage. Hello, good night, caller.
Hello.
Good. Hello.
Yes, go ahead, you're live. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, go ahead, you're live.
Yes, Mr. Ensign. I want to find out why the opposition going around all over the place calling him a small thing.
It's a nickname. One is a small pin. One is that at the end of the day, one is that peacock is something that is normal. One is that maybe it is you could find out.
Another thing, I find
the police and them should go to work and jack and untie. The bandits cannot copy that.
Well, yes, believe me, they could copy it. They could copy anything because one is that we're so illiterate that we stop police from wearing a uniform because we believe that the bandits wouldn't copy it again. No matter what uniform the police put on the police.
Go back to short pants and things.
Well, the way they behave, I believe that we should go back to that one day. The way the police getting on. Thank you.
Right,
thank you very much, Kola. Thank you so much. But, that is so stupid. You have different arms of the police service, different wear, different apparel. So suppose the criminals start committing khaki tomorrow now.
Yeah.
What is going to happen? You're going to ban, and look, 2 bandits end up robbing, school uniform. They put on school uniform. So Erla now has to send out a serious, bulletin tomorrow that school uniforms will no longer be allowed, and together with Gatsby Dolly, look, 2 bandits dressed in school uniforms say they're Robbie plus size.
Yeah, and that's just a stone throw away from Barca grounds.
Yes.
And it's ridiculous. And this is an enclosed area, this is an enclosed environment, and this means the bandits, they don't care. They're coming into enclosed places now. They're coming in. They're not going to get caught. They know they're not going to get caught. Under this Rowley-led administration, 9 years, I know what irritates me, the thing that they do where they blame the last administration for everything, I find that to be totally ridiculous. But under this Rowley-led administration, we've had the most murders per annum. It's climbing. What number are we at now? We know?
We're about 525.
Most murders ever per annum. Most deaths on the roads. Most suicides, more now than ever before. Most extrajudicial killings, and in this country we accept that, and they say crime is on the decrease, crime is on the decline. I don't know crime.
There's an increase in the decrease of crime.
An increase in the decrease of crime. Yes, caller. Good night. You're live. It's okay if I talk to your callers.
You go ahead. You're free to do anything you want on my phone here. You go ahead.
Guys, if I don't come on the show next week, you know why? You vex with me.
No. Never, my brother. Go ahead.
Good night, caller. You're live.
Good night, Mr. Jagisa, Mr. Inshan.
Good night, Auntie.
I am calling from Charleville. I am just calling to compliment you all on the excellent job, especially you, Mr. Jagisa. I have listened to you last week on the program, and I'm listening to you today as well. Excellent job. We need people like you to represent us in this country.
I agree. Richard for Shogunas, East, West, North, and South.
All of that. We're going to have to get locked up because we're going to be voting in different areas, but it's okay.
Thank you, caller. Thank you, Auntie. And Jan,
okay.
Thanks for the endorsement.
No, I am supporting that 100%. No, Richard. Richard, you are close to, you are 30 years now, correct? Close to.
31?
You're 31. You have reached the age where your factory working good. So therefore, here what's happening. Time to put you. I don't want no such a old fogey like me there. We need young, brilliant minds, young, dedicated people to take this country forward. And I personally will support you taking up a seat. Maybe it is Shogunas East, because Shogunas East, nothing does happen there. Nothing good does happen, except people who just clap for failure. So I believe that you should really take up demand. And for those politicians watching right now, right? All you need to understand that people like Richard and other young people like him, all you need to start to utilize him to the best of our ability. And I endorse him 100%. I will be his campaign manager. With his permission.
So you want that to go fight?
No. That man, he does doing too much thing. Let's go again. Hello? Check it out. Hey boy?
Bring back
your police come back with that uniform. Bandit, copy that. Yes, caller, go ahead.
Yeah, Inchan, good night.
Good night.
Mr. Jalisa, good night.
Good
night. Partner Nizam, you know on tonight?
No. Nazim had to step out the country. He'll be back next week.
Alright, cool. I call him from Charleville here. I'm trying to find out something here. How it is you going to distinguish bandit from police right now? I'm trying to figure out this thing. If they come in my house, how am I supposed to know if it's a bandit or if it's a police?
There's absolutely no way of knowing.
You know.
Exactly. And Erla whole solution to this thing is to change the uniform, right? We have a Minister of National Security there. The man is a complete idiot, a complete waste of time, and a Prime Minister who's the head of the National Security Council, And he does always say the buck stops with he. Well, let me tell you something. Right?
No, he's talking about the guy and he's walking.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, Chan, you see this runaway crime in this country? Everything stops with he. Because everything controlling from he office dumb. This fish rotten from the head dumb. People don't understand what's going on here. And so Fitzgerald Lines to come out and say that is the population fault that crime so high. Let me tell you something. We're not collecting no minister's salary here. The man take the oath. And all you're failing in every aspect of your job. But all you're coming now to put all the blame on citizens. He had the audacity and this next idiot coming to tell we travel abroad. What's wrong with he? He feels is he supporters he talking to here who does go in people's basement in New York with $1,000 US in their pocket and stay 2 months, sir? What is he going on in this country by these people talking to we as though them paying we in this country, and John? I trying to figure out what's going on here. And them solution to this whole crime problem is to bring in 2,000 more vehicles. Where again the US currency to bring in all these vehicles from? I trying to figure out what's going on here because the same thing I was saying, you're trying to get 200 US, you have to go and beg the bank for that. And you know what they're telling you? We ain't had that now. Come back tomorrow, come back 2 days after, come back next week.
Yeah.
And when you can't even get 200 US. You tell me that making sense. Everything falling apart here and all the government only doing is blaming everybody else. There is what power, but they don't want no damn responsibility. But that's
but you see, we are also part of the problem. Because if you have people like Republic Bank kicking you in your backside and you can't get your own money, if en masse we came together and we decided we're shutting down all our accounts and moving our accounts from Republic Bank, things would happen. But we are too lackadaisical. We like
the
way things
go. True, before I go, we're saying it's true. We could change everything too, but people like it so well. That is the next problem in this country. Anyway, fellas, I'll enjoy the night.
All right, back to our lines. Richard, take this.
Yeah, good night, caller. How are you?
A very good evening to you, gentlemen, Mr. Jagisha and Mr. Inshan.
Good evening.
Good night.
And I would like to compliment one more time again, Master Control. Very courteous guys. Very, very courteous.
Thank you.
So, very small story quickly. When I was going to elementary school, one of my schoolmates, very intelligent, brilliant guy, and no problem person, very, very good. But what I understand eventually is that he ended up on the white powder. And when his parents died, cocaine, when his parents died, he started to sell out fridge, stove, galvanized. The only thing he left in the house was the galvanized where he was staying in that room. So at least when rain falling, he would get wet. But he sold out everything. So in those days, and I think now we just call him a spranger, but this government is operating just like him. But the only difference, at least he waited till his parents died. But they're selling out everything while we are alive. And this is not nice at all. All the best. Have a great evening.
That analogy is on point as you can get.
Exactly so. Thank you, caller, for that.
Let's go again. Hello? Hello?
Hello. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, can I speak to Inshan, please?
Speaking.
Yeah, Inshan, two things. One, welcome back to the program.
Thank you very much.
We miss you. Secondly, you see the young boy they have there? Richard, we want him for Shogunas West.
I say Shogunas East, right? Because Shogunas...
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, here what happening? Let me do argue over that. If once is East or West, we taking that.
Thank you for that endorsement, Colin. And let me just say that I started to be an attorney to help people. People always say, well, you're an attorney for the money. No, I'm an attorney to help a large catchment of society in any way I can. So I thank you for that endorsement. And if that's where life carries me, well then we have a way in Trinidad. We say, well, if that's your karma, well then that's your karma. And if that's my karma, then that's my karma. But I am willing to serve at any level, in any way, in any forum that I can. And if that is where we go, well then so be it. But I do thank you, caller, for that.
Okay, in any area too. Good. Great.
Yeah. In any area, in any way, in any form, in any fashion.
Well, believe me, politicians is okay because Kamala, everybody else will be listening to this program. And what was that, let me hope that there is some listening going on. Let's go back to our lines again. Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, your live, please.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, caller, go ahead, please, your live.
Yeah. Inshallah, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah, I would like to highlight for the past 10 years, PLM is in power. Nothing has been done to the access road in your area. For example, in Wayabal. Wayabal in a bad state, it is a haven for bandits right now. They are vandalizing all the farmers' shed. They're dumping rubbish. Nothing is taking place. And as you live in the area, I would like to highlight this problem. Despite of several vehicles that have been bought for the freelancing squad.
Yeah, but we have a representative here, Khadija. Khadija fixing road for cow to pass, box drain for cow to use in Bamboo. And where we need the box drain, we're not getting it because I don't know if she's watching Bamboo number 2 o'clock in the morning. So at the end of the day, I understand what you're saying. And now I'm hearing that the TPRC allegedly give 90 contracts to contractors outside of the region. So again, I'll get a copy of that document, Richard. You know, when I get my copies of documents, you know, I don't mix matters.
Of course. Hello, good night, caller.
Hello?
Yeah, all right, thanks.
Yeah, good night.
Good night. Yes, sir. I just want to highlight something about this government. They are selling everything out that my generation and generation before those people work hard to get. They bring property tax in property tax, about before Kamala had stopped it, it was petty money. I have a home that I borrow and bill in parts. I have to pay for this house. I'm still paying for it, and I have to come on and pay 9,000 plus in property tax. They send 2 vagrant to measure it. The woman measure my garage as well. So I had a dog kennel and a storeroom. I said, measure that too, I can rent out that. Anyway, this government robbing everybody. They rob the monthly paid, they rob the daily paid. I am a daily paid, they rob everybody. In addition, they want to sell Clico now. They want to sell Clico company. After Clico paid them 3/4 of their money, they were paying back people who borrow money and invested in Clico, sir. And they stopped paying since 2022. Mr. Rowley, Ballhead Rowley said they're going to pay in 7 years' time. Why? Why he have to be doing this? Now you're robbing poor people their money.
Correct. Yes.
No, you're right. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Listen to me, sir. It's not I was greedy. I mortgaged my house and further borrow some money to invest with Clico. Today I need my money more than ever.
Yeah, but caller, let me ask you a question before you go on. You filled out your form and everything, right? Your form for your tax, your property tax, right?
Well, the next white man said...
No, hold on. Let us converse here. When did you fill it out? Did you get your assessment?
Yes, I got my assessment.
Well, then you are part of the problem because I have not filled out any blasted form. So the thing is that when you call on NO and you complain in about what they want to do, but you were one of those who did not listen and you decided to put your tail between your leg and to go and fill out form. Who to blame now?
This is not the point. The man
that
says
is the bloody point. That is the point. The point is that all you always want somebody else to do something for you. But for all you to stand up, all you can't do that.
But I would support you anytime. I just heard on the program.
Forget supporting
you
me.
You said you're studying law to help poor people.
Forget supporting me. You have to support yourself. Forget me. All you grow some testicular fortitude, man. All your children will look at all and say, but wait now, we Madam Farah is coward. All you grow some balls. Let's go to the other line. And nothing wrong according to the broadcast code with balls. Because at the end of the day, it have footballs, CPL cricket balls. You understand? There we go.
Good night, caller, you're live.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yes, well, concerning the police uniform, right? If they want to revert to the old time uniform, they should revert to horses. Because that's the horsepower they should use.
No, but we have a donkey in charge of the country.
No, but they should put them in horse, no cars anymore.
I don't know, not there. This place really backward, you know, girl. This place really, I don't know, this place of setting.
No, in that way, they will be more visible.
Don't
Yes.
put him on donkey back. Thank you very much, caller. Let's go again. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Yes, I want to talk to Ishmael.
Yes, God, you're live.
Alive, right? Ishmael, good night, sir.
Good night.
What are you supposed to do? Is to shut down the country?
No, why does all your can't do it? Why does we must do it? What I'm telling you, all your handbrake, all your leg brake, what it is? Why does we cannot come together? Why does all your, why does we must, I get locked up 7 times fighting for this country. My weapon of mass destruction was exposed to the police officers. You understand?
We're supposed to lock down this country.
We are willing to do what is necessary within the confines of the law. But the fact is that, Richard, when you look behind, what you're seeing?
Yeah.
10 people behind me.
Me, I'm ready to go to protest against them. And if they do that, I do.
No, get ready, you know, a shutdown coming. It go come. It go come. It have to come. This country needs something. It need a purge right now. It need more than milk of magnesia.
What is supposed to do? Investigate every one of the ministers.
And how are we going to do that? We don't have powers of investigation.
I dream, let I tell you something. I dream Rowley went by Embut. Embut opened my cupboard and gave him 2 piles of US and our next
No. You see that? I ain't going down the road with that dotishness. All you keep all your job, you dream for yourself. Hold up. No, listen, man. I always tell people, let's go to another caller. When we go down a certain road, like I tell you, you must understand, I have rats and tat. Telecom Authority. They have been coming after me for years. They have tried for years to shut down the station. Right? And at the end of the day, TAT have PNM Party Group 36. And when I call and talk all the dotations, and I do not cut it off, unfortunately, there are some stations which are PNM, which could wait until the concession renew to make racist statement and be allowed by TAT. Here it's different. You understand? So I can't allow all to go down the road making them dotage statement. We need to take a break now because I just realized we are almost an hour already and we have not even taken a break as yet.
And we have more to discuss.
We hear what happened. We now took the wood in the fire, we ain't light it as yet. We ain't use the pukni. And we now start. Right, so we're going to take a break and when we come back, we'll continue right here on Breaking Barriers. We'll be back.
I'm Brian. I've been welding for more than 25 years. It's a rough job, so I need tools that last long and work efficiently. The most important tool that I use every day is a welding machine. A good one, in my experience, must last at least, let's say, 4 to 5 years without breaking down or losing efficiency. I've been using a Ronix welding machine for about 4 years now, and it's been a really good companion.
Ronix Premium Quality. Ronix Heavy Duty 89 Series. High efficiency, brushless 20-volt motor. All-in-one professional angle grinder kit. Runix brushless angle grinder.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality bromate free, all purpose and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canoopia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Mitsu Air Limited, authorized Mitsubishi air conditioning dealer. No need to replace your air conditioning units ever so often. Split units, cassette, ductable, CTVIF systems and much more. Mitsubishi Electric has long been powering industries and providing solutions for healthy living. Mitsu Air Limited boasts the industry's first 10-year warranty on all parts and labor. Inverter units are also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
And welcome back, my friends. Of course, you're watching Breaking Barriers right here on IBN Channel 8. In studio with me tonight is my good friend and attorney at law, Richard Jagisa. And of course, Nazim is out for the week, so therefore he is he'll be back up by next week, hopefully joining us, God willing. Of course, what we're doing is that tonight we're discussing the politics of trying to begin the situation, what is taking place. Because as you're well aware, every literal day there are murders, blood on the road, blood on the streets, blood in the homes. Elderly people are being taken. This fella, Ramnarain, Suvesh Ramnarain. Suvesh Ramnarain, missing now, going into 2 weeks, and not a trace. Not a trace. Right? There he is. And you know where's the others? My Facebook thing, this came up on the Facebook. People you may know. Suvesh Ramnarain. Right? So now everything has shut down for them, their business, everything. So besides him being affected with his family indirectly, his employees, everybody has been affected too as well. This is where we have reached. Let's go to our lines. Hello.
And that's what we've come to accept as the norm. Somebody get kidnapped Monday, well, all right, so be it. And that's
Who
ridiculous.
Yeah. Who died today? Go ahead. Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah.
Yes, good night, caller, you're live.
Good night, Richard, and Mr. Inchan. All doing a good job, and I go like Inchan. I go like Richard to run for office. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much. And again, what really going on here, boy? Richard not coming on this program from next week. Now, all never tell me one day to run for office. 3, 4, 5, 10 calls in a row. All you call for Richard to run for office. So wait now. I nobody. All right, okay. I endorse
Inchan,
that.
I want you to run for office.
I will run from office. Anyway, giving you an update. Murder toll is 533.
533.
So by the end of this week, based on current trends, it should be about 550.
And that's unacceptable.
No, that is acceptable under the PNM. That's why they put Perla there. That is why they put Fitzgerald Hines there. That is why they have Scotland there. Because it is acceptable. You don't put people who will be able to deal with this. The people that we had before who made a difference, you didn't want them because you didn't like them. Yes. You understand?
And in the words of the Minister of Finance, they may riot yet.
They may riot yet.
And we had to take that. Yes, good night, caller. Good night, caller, you're live.
Mr. Jagisa?
Yes, good night.
Mr. Jagisa, I think what we need is young blood like you. Young people more interested in politics.
I think that's the point you was making.
Keep all the old fogies out. I've said it before, like me. Keep people like me out. Keep the over 50s, the over 60s out. Let the young people now start to change and not no old crook and old bandit.
Mr. Inchan, you have passed sell-by date. So we have to have new blood like Mr. Jagisa.
Correct. Correct.
And Mr. Jagisa has got my vote.
And he has my vote too, even though I'm not voting in that area. But I will do voter pardon.
Well, I hope so.
No, you retract that. Don't say that. That next case now to the list.
Oh,
anyway, thank you very much.
No, I will. I'll be able to pad the place properly enough for your comfort with upholstery.
Thank you, caller. Let me just say thank you, caller. I humbly acknowledge the endorsement, and again, You know, every time I do the show or I make public statements, you know, there always is that hint. You know, people come up to me and suggest something along those lines, and I've grown to tell myself, you know, if the day should ever come where I'm asked.
Yeah, the studio saying that you need to sit up a little bit, you're slouching.
And there will be my posture.
Yeah, you're posturepedic.
If I am asked, if I am called upon to serve, then I shall do my best to properly serve, to properly advocate for the rights of others, to properly address the needs of anybody who puts their faith in me.
You know, you have a little mole on your left side here, right? Right, whatever it is. When you turn to the side, you look like John Walton a little bit. The Waltons, your father would know about the Waltons issue, but you look exactly like John Walton. When you go on the internet, you'll check it. Your father and I would be familiar with that show. Let's go to our lines again. Hello?
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Inshan Ishmael, and we have Richard Jagisa in studio.
Okay, all I want to tell you is my boy, the wife is a pretty woman, and I like to all you and the Mr. Jagisa. And I don't miss your show.
Thank you so much, Mommy. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
I'm calling from St. James.
Thank you so much, my dear, and you be safe. God bless you. Thank you so much. Let's go again. Let's go again to our lines. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Ben Schmel and Mr. Jagasa.
Good night.
Mr. Jagasa, let me tell you something. Don't listen to them people, you know, who telling you to go up for no minister or nothing. Because when you see you reach there, these people going to be terrorizing your tail about the minister and doing this, and where the minister, and we can't see him. And all along, them big pay people, all the permanent secretaries and the directors and all of them who getting all the money, they ain't doing nothing. You know why? You gonna get the jamming. So listen, keep your head black as it is there, with your face without a frown, and Insha know just what I'm talking about. Don't go into no politics with these disgusting people that have in Trinidad, because they're going to be blaming you for everything that go wrong when you know you can't control all their ministry. The ministry have so much different departments. You can control all of that. These people getting all the money, they are working. Where is the engineers to check the work that these ministers putting down on the road? With them? They're getting all them. None of them ain't coming out and checking nothing.
No, them engineers and them pure and Ministry
all
of
of them,
Works.
none of them. But they're blaming you. So listen to me and tell Mr. Inshan, I say behave yourself and leave the young man alone.
God, Richard, again, both tonight too.
Okay.
Thank you so much, my
Have a
dear.
good evening.
God, I'm taking it. I'm relaxing myself. Boy, I get jarred there, boy. But here what happened? That decision. Now, the caller made some valid points in regards to the PS, in regards to the engineers not doing what they're supposed to. But where does the buck stop, Richard? Not with the minister.
It does.
The minister is the one where the buck stops. So at the end of the day, the minister has total responsibility in regards to certain things. If the PS is not functioning, he has his office to write letters and confirm that here what's happening. We have issues, we have concerns about this PS, so that changes can be made. So quite frankly, things could be done.
Yeah.
Richard?
And it is all about being that change that you want to see in the country. You know, you made the point earlier with a caller. Don't just call in and expect others to do for you. When my mother and my father marched with tutor to get increase in wages and base salaries and so on, they were doing it. And as I grew up, I understood that while they were the ones marching, when they were successful, even the ones who did not march, the teachers who did not march, they benefited from it. And that's fine. You do the task whether or not there is guaranteed success, whether or not it is a tough hill to climb, whether or not you are alone. You must stand up for what you believe is right, moral, and ethical. And you must be that change that you want to see in society, because you cannot expect somebody else to do it for you.
Well said, Mr. Jagisa. Take that call for that brilliant line that you just put in there.
Good night, caller.
Good night, Mr. Inchan and Mr. Richard Jagisa. I just have a small contribution to make. I would like to endorse what that lady said, not to get involved in politics.
Wait, now, this voice sounding real familiar.
Yes, it is. As much as it is very nice to have people like Mr. Jagasa in politics, but talking from someone with the experience from the bowels of the beast, you see Mr. Jagasa and Mr. Inchan, you would know some of your own colleagues within your party, right? When you're getting somehow or the other popular because of the work that you do, the performance and the drive and the trust that people have in you, and you're getting a lot of coverages and so on, these are the same lazy colleagues would call the media and ask, why are you giving Mr. Jagasa so much of publicity? And then they will try to make you toe certain lines that is very unethical, right? And if you don't, your integrity would be at stake. As a young professional being an attorney at law, you have to be red, white, and black first. You cannot be towing the line for one set of confused individuals with their own agenda who is to be in a certain place because of the perks and the opportunities and the tax-free vehicles and so on. It is bigger than that. And so be very careful about taking debate about going into any particular area, because I'm talking from experience. Those people that talk and laugh at you, you can work hard, but at the end of the day, if you are threat to them or to the lazy set of people in that party, they will get you out of it. So just think carefully of what you're saying. And Mr. Inshal, very good work and nice to see you back, my brother. Take care.
Thank you so much, my brother. All the best.
Thank you, caller, for that.
So you have a doubling up both sides, but
and that's just how life is. At the end of the day, you have to make decisions that are most beneficial to what you want to progress in life as and how best you can help others. And I always say that, I used to say that I am here to serve God and country. I used to say, I am here to serve God and country. And about 2 years after I started my own private practice, I changed that and I amended it to now say, I am here to serve God's country. Hello, good night, caller. You're live.
Waxing lyrical, boy.
Hello, good night, caller.
Hello, good night, good evening, Mr. Jagisa and Mr. Inshan.
Good evening.
I just want to say one thing. Have you ever noticed that with all the programs that you have, you ever hear anybody from Tigo Martin, Kayanaj, Piti Valley?
No, we get calls from that area. One is that normally we would see it at the bottom of the screen, where the callers calling from. We had callers from Westmoreland, St. James tonight. So we get callers from all over, from Tenapuna, PNM strongholds we get. But what this program attracts is not the ghetto rats.
No, the supporters, the people who have this government in office, the supporters.
No, they can't call and say anything. What are they going to call and say? Hey, Richard and Inshan are 100% right. The government is a fascist, sickening government. They are a disease in the country. What are they going to say?
But they won't even, they don't even listen.
They cannot. They could go on other programs because the hosts are unable to defend. We, on the other hand, Richard, anytime they come in redirection, we could last time. Richard have a book here with answers. You know what page to turn to?
No, but I listen to a lot of other forums too, and you don't hear them. You don't hear them. They don't ever call because they're comfortable with how things going. They're happy.
Caller, when 21% of the people can say they're happy with Stuart Young acting as PM and don't see a problem, it shows you the rat-type mentality we have in this country, and that is the best I could describe it. The sad reality of it is that...
I also recognize that too, because I saw it, and I said, this is not...
Irregardless of if you are a supporter of Kamala, the UNC, you have a mother and you have a sister, and that is the reality of it. But unfortunately, for PNM people, when that Balize come out, and that Balize juice started squeeze, is whining to the left and to hell was with country.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome, my friend.
And we're going to see that behavior whenever that election bell rings.
Boy,
and we're in that mode.
Yeah, but you forget that I had to post up a picture that the PNM Youth League had put up with my daughter, saying that how I beat you, and they show she a picture with cotton thing on she face. That how I beat you because she have an African boyfriend. This is the PNM Youth League. So the older rats teaching the younger rats how to behave. And that is something that I posted because I posted back the picture, and the picture was AI generated, right? And this is to tell you how nasty, stink, and dirty some of their minds are, some. And that is the reality of it, right? So let's get the other two slides, please. Look at this. Look at this. Man hugging up his wife and daughter, or is it his two daughters, right? This is where we have reached, Richard, where this is a normal occurrence, where bandits coming into your home every day and the trauma is forgotten. Not by the families. Imagine the trauma is forgotten by those people who don't see a problem, because 90% of those ministers on the PNM bankroll collecting bribes. 90% collecting bribes. Because at the end of the day, I hope them fellas don't realize, and I said it before, there will come a time when that body will be 6 feet under, Richard. There will come a time when that body will have to go down from whence it came. I hope them already know whether it is you choose. Yeah, look at this video, Richard. Watch this video. Go ahead, guys. With the... Right, we are not seeing the preview here. Right. This is what the elderly must go through. And these are fellas who will kill and they don't care. But what is to be done, Richard? What is to be done?
You know, and then you have a prime minister that says everything is okay, crime is on the decrease. You have a minister of national security that says it is fine, crime is on the decrease. You have a commissioner of police whose solution to these things is to put a suggestion box in every police station. Absolutely ridiculous. And these are the signs, the writing on the wall of a PNM administration that does not care for the people. And this is normal PNM rhetoric. This is normal PNM behavior. And you made comments earlier. You mentioned, selling out all of our assets, closing Carney Limited, closing down Petrochin, and all of that. And I was about to quote from one of Lionel Sukaran's speeches in Parliament in the 1950s. I believe it was 1957. In 1950, and the point I want to make is what the PNM were doing back then, the PNM continue to do today. And it reads, I'm quoting, "We can produce the finest species of cows here. We have farmers with the know-how. We can become self-sufficient in milk. I am not concerned with temporary expedience. I am concerned with self-sufficiency and permanent relief. These are not only commodities that have risen above the reach of the average man. What about clothing? What about house rates? What about medical facilities? What about transport and every other field of life? The same issues and topics we remain having today. When we contemplate these suggestions to subsidize foreign companies, you made the point about Toyota, correct, foreign company, and foreign workers, one has to draw the line. Instead of subsidizing foreign commodities, be it flour or milk, the emphasis should be on increasing and improving local commodities. When I see the wealth of our forests, the neglected cocoa estates being offered for sale, the possibilities in livestock and poultry, I see subsidization of the commodities mentioned in the motion as measures turning us away from the issues of local production and self-sufficiency. How many times in today's parliament we the country, we the citizens, call for more diversification in our livestock, more diversification in our agriculture bill? How many times do we call for a reduction in the importation bill and more diversification in our food restoration bill here at home, self-sufficiency? That's what we're asking for here. That's what they were asking for in 1957. We yet to get it. Under constant PNM rule. Under 9 years of PNM rule most recently, and overall PNM rule in general. And we can't get it. And these are the serious problems we have in this country. And this shows us that it does not matter what face they paint as the political leader of the People's National Movement. It doesn't matter who sits at that helm. It does not matter. So long as it is the Balizé, we are going in government, we are going to get more of the same. We are going to get increase in crime. That tends to happen when they're in office. We are going to get high import bills because that benefits whomever they wish to benefit. We are going to get reduction in foreign exchange. We're already talking about devaluing the dollar. May we put God out of our thoughts and vote them in again for another 5 years, bringing them up to 15, definitely going to devalue the dollar. The conversation has already begun. We are going to have increased taxes. And this is what we have grown accustomed to, or rather, we ought to see it. We ought to be able to read it. This is what they are known for. They are a government of taxation. They are a government of oppression. They are a government of victimization. And for that reason, if no other, we need to put a stop to it. And if election is called in the morning, we need to go out in our numbers and vote them out. We cannot tolerate
41-0.
We cannot tolerate anything other than a whitewash. We cannot tolerate anything other than the complete removal and annihilation of this failed administration that consistently blames the last administration, which last saw government 9 years ago. We cannot accept that. That is failure at the highest order. Every time there's something in their manifesto or a promise that they make that they cannot fulfill, they blame somebody else. They blame Kamala. I disagree with that modus operandi. I disagree with that mantra. And I say that together with all of their failures, all of their charges, all of their allegations, out the door for them. What was the phrase you used earlier? You want to run them out?
Yes,
run them out. And and even if you're a PNM stalwart, look at the truth of it. Even if you're in Diego Martin, you have to pay these property tax. I know there were businessmen. I think Diego Martin had an article in the papers. I believe I read where they were against it and so on. So the point is, even if you are in that catchment, open your eyes and see that it has gotten down to the wire, and it is almost untenable to exist in this country, to stay here and exist under this tyranny, under this heavy red thumb. We cannot take it any further. As a young professional, I say enough is enough. And honestly, if the People's National Movement had any form of dignity, any shred of resilience, they will call the internal election now. Why are they hiding? Why are they adjourning it? Why are they hiding from the writing on the wall? Call the internal election, call the general now, and let's do the needful. Come on.
Hello? Hello?
Good night.
Good night, Gola.
Good night. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
And good night to Mr. We had what you call a get on board. Get on board is that Mr. the Archbishop
Jagisa.
Archbishop Gordon.
Oh.
And what you call Baba Burke,
Dutton.
and Pastor Dutton. All of these fellas get on board for crime, to solve the crime problem. But Mr. Ishmael, you're not on board.
I am not on board?
So what I want to know is you're not getting on board too.
My friend, I have been on board on every single thing. While Pastor Dutton, while all of them was sleeping for years, I have been on board every single week.
But why I
Some people, hold on. Some people are on board this week and last week. Some people are on board a month ago. I have been on board 7 times. I was arrested. How much time do you want me to be on board?
But what I want to tell you that we had a forum, a crime forum.
And do you know that I supported that crime forum? Do you know that I advertised it? Do you know that I endorsed it?
The crime forum.
Yes, I am telling you, because you made a ludicrous statement that I wasn't on board.
The point I really wanted to make.
The people who hosted the crime symposium, I hosted them on my program.
Right, but listen to what I'm saying. What happened is that we had Gary Griffith asking the Prime Minister to help out concerning the crime. I know Gary Griffith had all the whereabouts about the crime. But these fellas, like Barbara Burke and Archbishop and all these fellas, they're supposed to know that the Bible said, know the truth and the truth will set you free. But they're not speaking the truth. When Gary Griffith asked the Prime Minister, they didn't come out and say, listen, we want Gary Griffith. This is the man that will stop the crime, because since Gary Griffith leave, or the chair of Gary Griffith, the crime escalates, and other people don't like Gary Griffith, but he is the only solution.
And why the people don't like Gary Griffith? Why?
You don't like Gary. A lot of people don't like Gary Griffith because maybe they favor the
Gary is a person, one, he rocks too much boats, and people don't like that. But not only that, at a spell of Gary, sometimes he needs to know when to shut up. I just always tell Gary that. He needs to know when it's time to shut up, calm himself. He can't be like, Gary can't be like a little woman always running after this little problem, that little one. I always, up to a few weeks ago, I told Gary that. Leave the bloody people on Facebook who commented about you and stop the dotations.
He have a problem now because the people are not standing up for him. The people are standing up for all kinds of crime, but we need a good commissioner of police and we need a good minister of national security. And the only commissioner of police there is now is Gary Griffith. And if people stand up and say, in the high position, and those people who have a voice, stand up and say, listen, we will march.
Kola, you're talking dotations, because let me tell you why. People are not going to come together. People like yourself will call the airwaves and see we will do this and do that. And when it's time to do it, 200 people show up. So at the end of the day, Trinidad and Tobago is not a proactive society. We are a reactive society.
Let me ask you a question. Do you agree that we need a commissioner of police, as Gary Griffith, to stop the crime situation now?
But that question answers itself, because as commissioner of police, as former commissioner of police, Gary did a good job. So therefore, at the end of the day, your question answers itself.
Right, good. So that's the point I want to make. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And you see, it all boils down to when we could do this, when we could do that, well, do it. What is stopping people? Richard and Enchan told you why, while all sit down in our home comfortable, and when bandit come, all crying? No, all need to come together. Everybody need to come together. It cannot be Richard and I. It cannot be a few people. You understand? Let's just run through those slides fast, guys. Sometime today. No, forget this one. Let's go again. Watch. This is the quality of the, the quality of the stuff that we have being done with the work in school with gates and all those things. And one is that if we're not getting pressure to pay for gate, we're getting crushed by gate.
And I read the comments under this on social media where people were saying, oh, okay, that has happened, forget that,
Stupidity.
Yeah, because they're willing to accept that kind of nonsense.
Imagine your fingers severed.
Yeah.
Let's go again, guys.
You can skip that.
I don't know. What is that? Mr. Warner, I see Mr. Warner has jumped back in the political fray. And he said, you've given the opportunity. At the end of the day, Mr. Warner, I love you. But my brother, one is that you could do it without stress. One is that help from the back. And at the end of the day, I support the young people coming forward and doing what they need to do. One of the things that I want to show, come back to me, guys. One of the things that I want to do, I mentioned it before, and I just want to show this video for the shock value of it. Show this video, please. Right? This is how a Muslim funeral is done. Jagisa, you can take a look at this if you want. Come here and see. Right? This is how Muslims are buried. Right? And I'm showing you this as a reminder to the Muslims who support in the PNM and the Muslims who are members of parliament under the PNM. This is the hole that we go down in. And you see where those two pieces of wood are, Richard? You normally put boxing board and you cover up that whole section there, Richard. And you are there, the dirt on you. And then they throw dirt on top of that, Richard. Imagine that. This is what human life is. This is what your worth is. This is what the Maybach that you have. Come back to me, guys. This is what the Maybach that you have. This is what the Mercedes-Benz, the BMW, the value it has. These fellas understand that? How much money you will thief every single day, every single week, how much money you need to survive. While poor people suffering, children cannot get medical care, they cannot get food, and we feel comfortable. Right? But like I tell you, at the end of the day, people need to come together. Whoever leads the UNC is whoever we need to support. If Kamala continues to lead the UNC, then we have no choice. Everybody needs to come together under one umbrella. I don't know what Michaela is trying to do, but it's not working. I tell you as it is. Unfortunately, Michaela, you don't have the political stock to pull the people for them to vote for you. Unfortunately, that is the reality of it. Richard, you have 3 minutes.
At the end of the day, the point that whoever leads the United National Congress, which has been Kamala Persad-Bissessar for quite some time, and she has been elected, and she's not due for re-election for some many years to come. She has been the political leader. She has been prime minister. She has won the political leader of her party not once, not twice, but thrice, while the PNM in comparison are hiding from their election. She has led the United National Congress into government in 2010. And if and all signs point to this, she will continue to be the leader going into 2025 general election, then I fully endorse support to the United National Congress in their drive to depose the PNM of office, and I endorse all of the good work that the UNC did, that government did in 2010, and I cannot wait to see what will be done in 2025 or whenever the next election is called. And I endorse Kamala Persad-Bissessar as the political leader, the next prime minister. I hope that I can serve in any way that I am called upon to, at whatever capacity, at whatever level, and whatever happens, I hope that the results, remember, it is 19 seats for the UNC and 22 seats for the PNM.
Yes.
So the PNM is in government by 2 seats. Rowley is the prime minister with 2 seats. And therefore, he's a 2-seat prime minister. He has a majority just by 2. And at the end of the day, the United National Congress only needs 2 more seats. Of course, I expect them to get more the way things are going, but they only need 2 more seats to break that mold and get into government. And it appears on paper to be an easy enough task, and I see it happening. And if that be the case, I think there is a savior coming.
Well, my friends, this is where we have to wrap it up, and I think it's the first time in maybe about 30 years that this program is finishing on time. Actually, 9:30 on the dot. All right, and again, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, this was Breaking Barriers, carried to you live from the studios of IBN Channel 8, 61 Bamboo Main Road, Bamboo number 2. And of course, there's a repeat of this program, 9 p.m. on Saturdays. And of course, you can send me emails, breakingbarriers@gmail.com, or you can contact me at 684-4762. All right, so catch you next week for Breaking Barriers, and God bless, folks. Take care. Assalamu alaikum. And good evening. One last thing. Tomorrow, there's free parking again at Baraka Grounds for those of you who will be going to get your food, stuff, etc. at the Nagar. but Friday is paid parking. From Friday is paid secure parking. Just a reminder. So tomorrow is the last day for free parking. And then lastly, we are almost out of tickets for Baraka Hospital fundraiser, right? The tickets, you can contact me for tickets. We're almost out. I think it's just about 150 tickets or so left. You can contact any member of the Baraka Foundation, or like I said before, you can contact me accordingly. All right? And that's for the dinner taking place on the 17th of November. So God bless you, and I'll catch you next week for Breaking Barriers. And again, thank you so much to my guest here, Mr. Jagisa. All the best. Take care. Assalamu alaikum and good evening.